Nature's Prophet. They're gonna take one of Polaris' heroes. Not that Polaris are looking for it this game.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're gonna play this as off lane or a carry.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Mars is pretty good against NP, right? I feel like
Mars
yeah.
in the lane.
5 seconds
Or is it
remaining.
rough?
I don't think I don't think anyone beats NP in lane. Like,
Okay.
there's literally no hero I can think of that will beat NP position 1.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like off lane NP, it goes either way. Like if DPC does have like a decent laning stage, doesn't get ran over, like she'll just like kill the trains fast too. So I prefer to see it on carry and then play really aggressive, to be honest with you, and put the tiny mid and just try to snowball this game. We have been seeing a little bit of position 4 tiny. I have like mixed feelings on it. I'm pretty neutral with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the SA classic.
Yeah.
Team pick.
Oh, there's more Snapfire this time. No Coddle, because it's banned, I guess. Maybe they just prefer Coddle to Snap. Very interesting. Because they have the DPC too. I'm sure they would have picked the Coddle right with DPC if it was in the
Yeah.
pool. Oh,
Ooh.
Polaris is taking it now.
Yeah, because this is what I was wondering. It's like, are we going to start to see Marcy just lower priority? Because it does seem like insta first pick Marcy is just like overvaluing the hero. So they get on later on in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I do like the position that is picked in, because they already have DPC, Snap, Mars. There's so much team fight for this Marcy. This is what I wanted to see, right? So this is like a good Marcy pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this hero gains value the later you pick it, unless you're picking it for like a save. Because you can like do some crazy things with the dispose, toss people to black hole, chrono, stuff like that.
Same time, it looks like a 5 Marcy laning with a DPC, which maybe means we're seeing some more sidekick builds. Like, does your DPC really want to play with, around your other 2 spells? Like,
I mean, I would still max the other 2 spells and just like leave and just do something.
Yep.
Unless he's just gonna stack jungle camps and just use sidekick so DPC can farm jungle faster. I would really hate that if they do that, but we'll see.
The jug pick on NGX, you guys haven't yet talked about that one and how it works for their lineup so far?
Works with Grim in lane. Very good versus the Mars. Magic immunity, healing ward is great this game. Not a huge jug fan, and never really see it do well, even though in paper it always looks like it should be doing well. What I'm afraid is going to happen here is it's just going to be laning with some Grimstroke. It's going to get spammed by the Snapfire Mars and just never have that opportunity to go for a kill, especially with salves being nerfed here. I'm afraid their sustain might be hard for the Juggernaut, even with like the healing ward.
Okay, so just not really a big jug fan, and not so much with this either in these matchups.
It just hasn't. I love the hero, and on paper it should be great, but it just hasn't performed so far in all the games I've seen it.
So one of these heroes, I just feels like it fell off because it was like this kind of jack of all trades, but like didn't really master anything, and at the same time, the damage doesn't scale as well as other carries. It feels like throughout the game, so definitely a carry that's had issues at times.
And this is a really hard jug game too. Like I don't think jug is good versus Medusa. Stone Gaze, obviously by Scotty, goes for Magic Immune. Now he's playing versus Razor, so it just really became a very hard game for Juggernaut to carry. He does have NP though on his team, so they can share the burden here of this game.
Yeah, I actually don't love this Razor pick. It feels like they didn't like it's another like single target hero. It doesn't I don't know. It doesn't seem to me to fit what they were looking for out of them. I assume mid laner. I guess it could be an off laner with the mid Mars, but to me, Razor fits more into the carry role.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it mid in a while, but as long as you make the rotations, get the early BKB, I could see it working. It's just mainly to make sure that their carry feels very pressured this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to see Quap is banned. That was a good one. What else do people like playing versus Razor mid nowadays? Lena? Lena back?
Lena versus DPC is always okay too, but...
I mean, I would like it because... I really think Jug is just going to be like a support-ish role in this game. Like, you can't put all your net worth on this hero in this game and expect to win, unless you're, like 10, 20k gold ahead, of course.
Mm-hmm. Which style are you liking a little bit more out of these two?
For me, Polaris again.
Yeah.
I just think they, as much as I don't love the DPC, I don't really feel like NGX have drafted in a way that's going to punish the DPC pick.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see Nigma's draft really making too much sense here. They have a lot of ranged heroes, ranged cores with Grimstroke, and you know, Jug is going to be farming for the most part, so the mid game Tiny is going to be the Inkswell target. I don't know if that's going to work so well.
All right, well, we'll get Mike and John in here, and this time I'm going to let John free reign. I'm so sorry. I'm going to say it for cutting you off. So, John, you go first. You take up all the time. Don't let Mike talk this time.
Look, Polaris just decided to pick the Marcy to show us how it's done. And, you know, Mike was like, no, don't pick the Marcy. I was like, no, they're going to pick the Marcy. And they picked the Marcy. So they bring it in. They've got the Marcy Razor lane. We're going to see it more active. And I think Polaris has the lineup that's very comfy for them. I think NGX, they've got to show us what their game plan is. There's an idea here. It's pretty hard to pull off. And I think if they're not ready, Polaris might repeat what happened in game 1 there.
Who do you have the faith in, Mike?
Polaris as well. I think the Medusa beats Jug. Razor makes Jug's life a living hell. Like, I don't know what NGX is trying to do with this draft. I feel like the last pick Puck was okay, but then it doesn't really fix the issue of how the hell are you killing this Medusa.
It's going to be a very, very close matchup, I guess, to watch when it comes to the lanes. But please, Mike and John, game 2, take us away.
Well, thank you so much, Nat. We do go into it. Game number 2, Jonathan. It's another thing as well, right? Like, how are you killing the Medusa this game? Once you hit late game, right? Like, you've got a Jug who doesn't do well against Medusa. On top of that, there's a Razor behind that Medusa, which is going to just link all the damage away. And as a Pugner, even if you do have high amounts of damage, you've got a Mars against you who can block out most of that right-click damage anyway. So what are you going to do?
Wait, Pugna?
No, excuse me, Puck.
Wait.
Puck.
Yes, Puck. I don't know. I think it's a toughie for NGX. I mean, how do you feel about the Marzi though, Mike? That's the important. Look at Xavius. He's already looking to be aggressive. You didn't want this here to come out. I said Polaris would pick it. They did, just because they want to show off how it's played.
Yeah, but think about this,
Xavius on the
John.
Marcy.
Think about it though. Like, sidekick with Medusa is just so much stronger, right? Because I believe the bonus damage would apply to split
30
shot.
seconds to battle.
Yeah, but sidekick maxing, like I don't know if Xavius will go for that same 1-1-3 build that Boomboy went for. I think I'm on Fear's side here. Just need to be a bit more aggressive with his hero. If you go for Dispose, play with your Razor a little bit more aggressively in lane, jump the Jug before you can spin. That's one way to just get rolling.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're going to go the max sidekick build anyway, because you don't need to. You're waiting till the mid to late game for the Medusa anyway. I'm just saying later on, the sidekick's going to add that little bit of oomph to the Medusa's hits, right? And I just see problems from there. Even in this laning phase, like, you got Marzi Razor against you, you get disposed into a static link. It's going to be pretty rough in your dream. I'm looking forward to seeing how they make this work. Like, they've got a decent combo with the spin Inkswell anyway between the Jug and Grimstroke. But all I'm saying is, if one of you get caught out with a dispose, you're just screwed.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did see a Marcy Razor lane last game, and that didn't really pan out for NGX. So maybe NGX learned something from running it themselves. And might find a way to make it work against it here. I think a quick Force Staff is necessary as well for NGX, as we saw Xavius do for Polaris last game. So we'll see if they'll get that build up. Still taking a look at those lanes up top. You do have Natsumi laning with TMV on the snap up against Mizu and Jokam on the NP and Tiny. The Tiny is on that support role. So Jokam's going to have to be setting up the plays, you know, playing around with the Avatos when he does get that up. He does still opt for the level 1 tree grab, so just wants to clear out the creep wave, clear out the summons, and unfortunately I don't quite see his tree here, Mike. I'm not sure if it's just me.
No, I don't see his tree either, John, but he's holding something. I guess we won't go too far into what he's holding right now, but it's a very interesting sight. It's TMV and Natsumi against Miz and Jokam. We'll see how this one goes. I mean, he's trying to get some damage off, it seems like, onto the creep wave right now, Jokam. Hopefully he gets his tree back, because it is a rather concerning sight. There it is. He threw it away. Very good.
Yeah, hopefully maybe the model decides to show up next time. Still the other lanes unfolding here down mid. Alacrity on his Puck. Does love his Puck. He's a very well-known Puck player up against Lelouch on the Mars. Now Lelouch does play a lot of mid-Mars. We haven't seen it as much recently, but it is still something he's comfy on. The lane matchup does feel a little bit more manageable for the Puck. You do have ways of dodging out the harassment from Lelouch, but it's not like Lelouch makes this lane easy for the Puck. You're very durable. You can play with your God's Rebuke, play with a Spear. You are having a slightly easier time in bottle top-ups for Alacrity with his mobility, but Lelouch always has that threat of the Spear back and disrupting that, so we'll be down to a little bit of rune control. Lelouch should have a steady time clearing everything out, though.
Top lane, there was a bit of action breaking out here. Mizu trying to get a little bit aggressive here with JoeCam. In fact, JoeCam has another toss back. He's looking for one, but TMV gonna go for the fight onto JoeCam. Had another scatter blast in 1 second, but the toss back making it just in the nick of time to save JoeCam's life. So he's gonna be able to walk away with his life intact, at least for now. And we saw last game as well, John. The first blood did take a fair bit of time to be drawn. I think it was around 6-7 minutes last game. I wonder how long it takes this time.
Yeah, I think it's one of those slower games. Again, you should expect Polaris to maybe play more aggressive. They have really good stable stuns, but same thing goes for NGX. If they get the angle to play with a spin for In Your Dream, you can still play with the Inkswell. We haven't been seeing that threat come out. Boomboy has just been kind of chasing around on the side, and In Your Dream still hasn't leveled anything at level 3. He's actually just keeping everything open. That's an interesting choice. Maybe just waiting to see what happens in lane, but yeah, okay, the value point Blade Fury now at least. Still, lots of skill points left if they do want to play aggressive here.
I guess, you know, you do have the stats build up, which isn't very popular right now, as Mizu does secure TMB as a first blood, and now they're onto Natsumi. Natsumi, gonna be alright for now. Xavius does rotate with the toss back. He does find JoeCam. So not a bad trade happening here at the top lane. Certainly in the favor, though, of NGX.SEA, who do get the first blood. And as well as that, of course, do force the rotation out from said Marcy.
Yeah, opens up the bot lane just a little bit more for Nevermind. So, I mean, open up for In Your Dream so you don't have that threat of the Dispose and Static Link coming through. And now you can kind of look to commit if you wanted to with a Blade Fury. And
here we go again.
They're not quite done, though.
They're trying onto Mizu. Toss out Natsumi, dropping low. Mizu trying to man fight Natsumi. He's gonna drop. They've gone too far. Mizu does at least go down, but it's still a great trade for NGX.SEA, who are trying for a bit more. TMV, he's not out of the woods yet either. He's trying to chase down TMV, but now he's the one in danger, as Xavius doesn't have the mana to toss him back and get a bit more damage out. So at least the Tiny does survive, but once again, John, it feels like you're always going to be happy trading Mizu's life, as long as it means Natsumi does die as well.
They are sacrificing quite a bit, but they are slowing down Dedusa at the same time. CS of Natsumi all the way down in comparison to In Your Dream, who has had a pretty free lane. The Razor matchup for Nevermind hasn't led to much activity, especially since Xavius has been forced out. So not able to do as much. In fact, they even threaten him, forcing him to TP back with the Inkswell on top. They don't quite commit the spin.
Mid lane. Got speed up there for a second. Lelouch, he didn't have the God's Rebuke available, otherwise that would have been a guaranteed kill. Meanwhile, bottom side, Nevermind trying to go after Boomboy a little bit there with the Static Link, but does back off. So far, really not too bad at all for NGX.SEA though. 2 for 2, very slight net worth lead to go their way, and it does feel like every lane's going just fine for them.
Yeah, I think outside of mid, which is the one issue. Did you get the spin off onto Nevermind?
And they will get him. That Spink Inkswell combination just coming in clutch, and they do get it. And again, it's one of those things like this. Marcy has not been around Xavius. He's been rotating through the top and mid lane, just unable to be around to save. And well, now he is there, but it might just be a little bit too late.
Yeah, just being forced to have Xavius on a Marcy go around a map takes away that threat in the bot. Like, you don't have anything to threaten to connect that Static Link for a long time. Gives a lot of windows for NGX to play aggressively on In Your Dream as well with the Inkswell combo. And they are building off this Jug really well. Like, the initial farm is lining up for In Your Dream. He is going for the Maelstrom build. That should accelerate his farm while giving him some forward presence as well. Natsumi's still lagging behind.
So
now, the Dusa can catch up in the jungle quite nicely, and they are not quite building up as many stacks as you'd expect, but the clearance is still there. Ooh.
Natsumi in trouble again. Nice toss back from JoeCam. There's Natsumi going to try to run, but the tree blocks are there with the tree. It's Natsumi. Is going to drop another time. JoeCam with a perfect setup back towards Mizu. And TMV, he was not within position to try and save his Medusa.
Yeah, just a bit too far out. And they do manage to get some really good punishment on from NGX's end, starting to really find that early game momentum they need. That's lineup doesn't want to drag it too slow. As you mentioned earlier on, Mike, Dedusa will be a massive issue in the late game, but that start is kind of stalled out. They even drag Natsumi mid to refill Lelouch's bottle. We'll hand that mid over to Natsumi, but he's got quite the level deficits in comparison to Alacti. So just going to be focusing in on that farm. for the side of Polaris, it does feel like a lot of this game is hinging on Lelouch's start. Looking for that blink initiation to start to be aggressive, start to get some setup to play with that arena. They will get the rotation out for Lelouch up top, though, being patient. There is a forward laning war, though, so you can't afford to show up early on if they want to get this angle in. The side of NGX are already kind of backing off.
They are. Meanwhile, bottom side, Boom Boy is copying a fair bit of damage, but never mind. He's the one that was in trouble. Surviving on about 40 HP on that Razor.
Under attack.
And having a very tough time down at the spot lane. A Stroke of Fate does connect, but Boom Boy not able to secure the kill. In fact, they're going to try and turn it around, but no, never mind. It's still going to drop to Mizu with the Nature's Wrath. And now with the Omni Slash out, they'll find another, it seems, as Xavius. No, he's not going to make it out. In Your Dream, able to secure the second. Mizu coming in clutch with that Nature's Grasp. Rather than Nature's Wrath.
And they're also being aggressive onto Natsumi, just not giving him a free lane on mid, threatening him to toss back, trying to make him uncomfy in the farm up. The pacing from Polaris is just not quite there. This is the kind of start that NGX needs to get a grip on this game. They have a lot of good farm on Mizu. Lelouch hasn't been able to get that rotation off the way he wanted to with the arena, not able to find a kill, stalling out his own timing for his solo ring and his blink and BKB. All of that's going to be a little bit slower than you'd want. And In Your Dream is starting to get pretty scary. Level 7 now on the jug. Maelstrom still being farmed up. Tons of room on the bot lane and bot jungle to just get that build up. No threat from Nevermind. I think this is where Polaris' lineup feels a little bit off. They are relying much more on Lelouch to playmake. You don't really have anyone else that can do that for you on this team. And until he gets his BKB, at the least it looks like, it's not going to be very easy for him to work the angles. Whereas NGX, they're already at the point they can just be aggressive. Jokam's just constantly camping mid. They're ready to go with Alacrity as well. Dream Coil just waiting to go, and Natsumi's not that safe here.
No, he's certainly not. Look at the amount of damage they've dealt already as the toss back outside the Dream Coil. Going to make it very hard for Natsumi to get out now. Jokam still trying. Natsumi actually going to survive though. So many rotations coming up from Polaris, making sure that Natsumi does survive another day. So, although they get everything perfect, it just wasn't quite enough in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they had the right idea, they found the right angle. They had a case rune running on Alacrity as well to get that done. But Natsumi is deceptively tanky, even with just the level 1 mana shield. Burst damage not quite enough just on the puck alone. And Jokam, of course, on the support tiny doesn't really burst too hard either. They get punished for that overextension. Much needed kill coming out from Polaris to help build up on Natsumi. And he does still have some stacks to play with on his large camp and triangle. So the catch-up gold is still there. The side of NGX, gonna have to hold back now. No arena to defend. Mid set to fall.
Yeah, it certainly is, as they even found TMB on the Snapfire. TMB just trying to go for a deny onto that T1 mid tower, but is gonna pay with it with his life, and he hasn't even got the deny off. It's fine to just walk out. So NGX.SEA really starting to clean up this game. So now it seems like Polaris are the ones playing on the back foot. Without that mid tier 1 tower, it's kind of rough for them to try and get this Medusa farming. And she is very far behind right now in terms of net worth. She's nowhere in a position where she can really start to fight. So they are going to try and force something mid lane. They'll make the jump in on the puck, but they miss the spear. Alacrity might be just fine to orb his way out. As Boom Boy is going to be there to try and help out. Dream Coil going to be committed, but so will be the arena. As Lelouch trying to make sure that everyone remains protected. They will secure 1, but the chase is still going for Alacrity. Problem is, he found a regen rune. So he's going to be just fine.
Dire's structures are
They managed to bail out, only sacrificing another support to the side of Polaris. NGX, more than happy. I mean, it's not ideal. They keep trying to go for this aggressive play. They don't really find what they want, but they are forcing the movements out from Polaris while the rest of the heroes of NGX work the math. Like, In Your Dream's just farming, Mizu's just farming, the buildup is coming through from these 2 cores. Even Alacrity is doing really well despite all this aggression that isn't lining up on his end. They are maintaining that 2k lead, and for Polaris, it does feel like this is now a turtle game. They just need to hold on, keep building up a Natsumi, have the confidence that the Medusa will carry them through, open up some jungle space to farm up. They still have good control on the triangle here, although they did lose quite a few of those stacks a while ago from the foray of NGX. NGX, for their part, still keeping that aggression up. Smoke out once more for Alacrity and Boom Boy. Looking for anyone in the jungle. Really good forward wards here as well to watch that top jungle.
Certainly is. Now looking towards that mid lane here, Alacrity and Boomboy. They see Natsumi, but he'll be protected by Lelouch, who's hanging around, making sure the Medusa is not left alone. Instead, they're thinking about that top lane with Nevermind, who's already had a very rough game. Just trying to catch up some farm here on this Razor, but may get caught out as the jump is there with the Inkswell Alacrity. Not going to go all the way. It's a very aggressive jump in. They don't end up committing the Dream Coil either. So they were trying to snipe him with the Nature's Wrath, but nothing really connecting apart from the Inkswell meant that they just weren't going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, it's just tough, and that's something Fear pointed out. Just hooking up with your Inkswell combinations outside of probably your Jug is really difficult. Like, timing that on the puck without committing Dream Coil is pretty tough. Nevermind just backs off, gets to live another day, and every single missed kill from NGX does feel like an opportunity for Polaris to keep turtling with this. And the build-up is still coming through. You're not that far behind anymore in Natsumi and Lelouch. They are keeping up pace with these top network cores from NGX, and they just need to stall. Maybe another 10 minutes, you start to feel really comfy on Destusa. You start to get the build-up you need on your Mars as well. Polaris will go for a smoke, though. That is TMV and Lelouch. They've got the kisses ready with the arena here.
I mean, this Jug is kind of getting out of control as well, right? Like in your dream. It's farming way too well right now. Top lane, who have they got? It's going to be the Marcy. Getting caught out once again. Is the Dream Coil actually not going to be enough? So Xavier's actually survives through it, and now down to the bot lane. They are trying onto Jokam. With the kisses out, it will give a bit of vision, but they've got no way to cancel the TP. So Polaris unable to find anything on their own terms either. But they are going to go after that bottom tier 1 tower.
Gives him a little bit of an opening, at least open up that bot jungle a little bit more for Natsumi to play in. I don't think NGX minds too much. They don't lose anything. They don't find a kill either, but they still farm up on Mizu, on In Your Dream. Her Jug is starting to hit pretty good item spikes now. Into the Sanjin Yasha next for some more aggression, and into the Roche Pit they go. They've got the drums up on Mizu here. They've got to sustain from the healing ward. Not going to take too long for the Roche to go. And with no arena for 40 seconds, it's pretty tough for the side of Polaris to make a fight there.
Yeah, it's kind of an unexpected Roshan being done by NGX.SEA. Just 14.5 minutes in. It's not something you'd quite expect to happen. But a very nice play here from NGX. So go all the way for it. No scan to give the information over here for Polaris Esports. They're going to be able to get away with this no problem. And suddenly you might have an Aegis up on Alacrity of all people on the puck. So this puck becomes even more difficult to kill now. And well, NGX, they still only hold a 2k net worth lead, but they are certainly making life a lot easier for them, as now they found the Razor. Alacrity's going to make the jump in and try to get this job done himself. In comes In Your Dream to try and help out. Nevermind trying for the TP, is not going to make it. They barely had enough. I think had it not been for that stroke of fate connecting, he may have actually made it out.
Just on the edge, they do force out some spells. TMV not safe here either.
No, the Inkswell's not going to land though. Boomboy gonna have to back his way out, as now the rest of Polaris are making their way in. Still could be a bit of an awkward team fight for them to take, as Boomboy does break the smoke. Xavier's looking for the toss back with the dispose. It looks like Boomboy has accepted the fact that he is probably gonna die, as they just toss him around. It's not the biggest kill in the world, but it's something.
It is something, and Polaris are still stalling this game out quite nicely, sacrificing some of their other cores just to enable Natsumi's build-up. He's still number 2 net worth. This guy's still up there, but can't afford to die. Does dodge out the gank attempt from Jokam. No blink on the Tiny yet. If he did, that would have been the initiation he needed to take that boost out. Still making plays top.
Yeah, Alacrity. He should be able to get out of this, no issues. They commit the Mortimer's Kisses, really trying to catch him, but Alacrity, a bit too slippery on the puck, is going to be able to get out. Keep in mind, he does have the Aegis anyway. I suppose they are just trying to snipe him for that first life if they can, and well, it turns out they can't. Alacrity is going to be just fine.
Just a bit too slippery on the puck. Their lockdown for the puck isn't the best here either. Nothing instantaneous to keep him down. Even with this blink that Xavius is trying to build on Marcy, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get that puck in time. Phase shift is still going to be a bit of an issue. So we'll see whether or not they can catch this slippery puck and try to get some punishment off. The side of NGX going for a smoke play on 2 supports. Blink up for Jokam. So they've got another jump angle here for NGX to take. Polaris have to be a bit cautious. Nevermind's in the firing line here.
Yeah, never mind. Jump in. Avalanche toss is there. Jokam with a perfect setup onto the Razor, but the Cookie is going to buy a bit of space here for Nevermind, who try to get out, but no, it's not going to be enough. Burnboy able to take the kill. Mid lane, they're going to keep trying. Burnboy does get caught out and gets deleted here. In fact, that was, yeah, Burnboy, he's gone. Jokam, though, going to make the jump back in onto the Marcy. Has found Xavius. They still find a very good trade for themselves on the side of NGX. It's Polaris. I mean, they're getting something, but it's nowhere near worth it.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade. NGX still starting to pile on. They're starting to get that push going with Mizu showing up onto the top lane. Atos up on her Nature's Prophet as well. So it's a lot of choices for control now on the side of NGX. And Polaris still very limited in what they can do. Natsumi is still within 200 gold of her jug. The build-up is still there for Dusa. And the high ground is still fairly protected.
Nice toss out. They caught the Snapfire. Once again, that'll be TMB gone. These tiny pickups, John, they're back. The tiny airlines, it was fixed up by Jeff recently, and right after that fix, you can see every team just picking it up as a pos 4.
Yeah. Damage output's great. Laning presence probably one of the slower parts about the tiny, depending on your matchup, but Jokam just hits that blink timing, starts to run around, gets work done, and his presence is felt. Side of Players still need a lot more to get their own place in the same way. We are looking at blinks for Xavius, blink for TMV as well. Lelouch, BKB is up and running on our Mars. So some front lining is there. I think the big issue for Polaris is that Nevermind has 0 impact right now. BKB's still 1,000 gold away. Level 11 on the Razor, a bit behind on the EXP as well. It just doesn't feel like you're getting too much value from the Razor. Down the line, static link on Jug is going to be big, but you're going to have to also think about, say, Mizu. His right-click damage is pretty annoying to deal with as well, although he has gone for a more defensive setup. They are starting to clump around top. Still no blink on Xavius, but they could try. I'm not going to be able to catch him out. And again, NGX just slipping by. Smoke out, though. Jokam again still on the hunt with that blink here.
That he is. The triangle they go. They'd love to find Natsumi. It has been quite a while since they've had the pleasure of trying to deal with the Medusa. And Natsumi, he's right behind In Your Dream in farm. Well, In Your Dream's done a great job on this Jug. He's had a very free game. In comparison to the Medusa, who's had a pretty rough start to the game, it's going to be a little bit of a concerning sign if you do find Natsumi starting to overtake in net worth. And I think we already kind of discussed this on the panel, John, but Jug vs Medusa is not exactly Jug's favorite. So it could be a bit of a rough affair if they're not able to keep that net worth advantage going for themselves. As even the Aegis is going to expire now on Alacrity, and they haven't really found much out of it.
Yeah,
mid lane,
they've taken a couple of skirmishes.
They lose. He might jump. Arena's there. They caught Mizu. Jokam is going to try and help out with the Mortimer's Kisses coming in. Mizu surely dies, or maybe not. The Dream Coil on the backside. It did cancel it off, so maybe Polaris have gone too far as Xavius is going to drop. They get their Mars out of there, but they find nothing. And they lose both supports for that attempt.
Big little win for NGX to take. Opens up this mid push now coming through. And they've just got everything on their hands. Like, they've got all the tools they need to make these plays. Polaris very forced into that position. Lelouch having to pop his Arena and BKB. And that's going to be a minute where they don't feel comfy enough to fight. NGX not going to go all in on the push though. Do back off. We'll go for the bot lane instead. And they've already got the shards up on Mizu. So the Greater Treants are there as well to help in this push attempt. And they've even got a Treant scouting out for TP spots on the right side. Won't spot Xavius. Still no blink on the Marcy. Might be looking to play here.
We're going to try. The tier 2 does stand. Polaris still trying to find themselves a target. We'll chase Mizu down, but it's kind of like you mentioned, John. Without that blink up on the Marcy, she can't really do much. Now with the Avalanche pass up, Natsumi is going to be forced to fight all by himself. The Omni Slash committed, but it's bouncing all the way around. It's not quite enough yet. In Your Dream, where's he gone? He's running away now. They've left the puck alone in the backside. Alacrity does at least find Lelouch. In fact, he found Xavius to boot. The puck is still in the run as he gets TMV as well. Alacrity onto a triple kill. Wants a little bit more. Back in on Natsumi, and never mind, they go. He might have an ultra very, very soon as well. The Medusa, completely trapped up, is going to drop. Alacrity with the triple, setting up a perfect team fight for his team.
He just finds that perfect angle in the tree line, no vision from Polaris there, and they're still having issues locking in that puck. That's been the consistent thing this game for Polaris. Their supports don't have the lockdown to stop something like the puck. That definitely opens up the high ground now for In Your Dream. And you talked about that matchup for Dusa versus Jug. Sure, Jug can have a bit of a tough time, depending on the circumstance for use of Omni Slash, but in an ideal situation, the Jug can still play that. Especially when you keep farm parity up. If the Dusa doesn't have the farm lead, or is only equal to the Jug, it does feel like as long as Omni Slash is up, In Your Dream has a lot to play with. And Natsumi can't afford to be isolated. He does play with his team every time he goes in, but he's gonna need a lot more farm to start to feel like that massive force up front. Tier 3 up top, up on the bot lane does fall. No racks to be threatened. And Polaris still has really good high ground defense going for them, but again, it's just a matter of farm. Like Polaris, 9k behind with this kind of lineup. They just lack the itemization to really kill the bigger heroes they need to. They haven't been able to kill In Your Dream once. They haven't been able to touch Alacrity either. Mizu, they've killed off a couple of times, but it's a Nature's Prophet off lane. All it's really doing is being annoying and farming up in the interim. And there's no punish for that either. So we've got to see Polaris hit these item spikes. Xavius, I believe, does have his Blink flying out, so it's time to see the impact of that Marcy initiation. With a Blink Dispose on hand, TMV is about to build it into that Blink as well. It's still about 600 gold away. Once you do have those double Blinks on your supports, things can get a little bit spicier. Lelouch as well with his Blink ready to go. They just need to... They need to catch Alacrity. If they don't manage to jump that puck at the start of the fight, I don't think they're ever going to find him in the middle of the fight.
It's been tough though. Like, you haven't really had a pos 4 on Polaris that can do anything. Like, up until this point where you've got the Blink up, but before that, Xavius, he had some impact in the early stage of the game during the laning phase, and right after that, it just kind of became a non-factor. I suppose now we'll see if he has any impact, but we're 24 minutes into the game. It's a bit long for a Blink up, right?
Yeah, especially from the 4. It's been a rough game for Xavius. He is trying to work onto that BKB to have some presence in the middle of these fights into the Basher. And that's the point when the Morrissey does feel pretty obnoxious with the Unleash. But whether or not you can reach that point here for Xavius is a different question. Still 9k behind, map control slipping away from them. They are trying to farm aggressively. At the very least, TMV has the bot lane to play with, the bot jungle to kind of work towards that Blink. Polaris starting to clump up. Roche respawn is fairly soon, and NGX is already in position in the pit to get that cleared out. So Polaris has to move quick here with the smoke.
Well, there's the Roshan. Polaris, they're going to start moving, but Roshan hasn't been started yet. In Your Dream, having a think about it, but decides to back off at the right moment. No vision around apart from, well, in front of the Roshan pit, they do have a bit going for NGX.SEA. Lelouch heading towards the top side where they really want Jokam, but instead towards the south they do find the Grimstroke and set. So Boom Boy is going to go down first. Not a bad pick-off, but it's not enough to turn the Roshan your way. Instead now, oh boy, Xavius, he's been caught out. Alacrity easily taking him down with the double damage. Might just look for more. TMV gonna get caught out. Toss back into the neutrals. Jokam, he's out of the arena. TMV's gonna die. The arena does nothing. Lelouch needs to run, and so does Nevermind, who tries for the TP out and barely makes it. Just barely. But I can't say the same for the rest of Polaris. They're trying to help Lelouch out. Natsumi, he's standing there and just hitting people. But he's gonna be careful himself. He's not that tanky. In Your Dream, he's going to try and go for this. The Medusa in trouble, does pop the Stone Gaze now, and Jokam is going to get speared back, but Natsumi, he's out of mana. He needs to run right now. Alacrity's on the chase. In Your Dream, he will follow. Natsumi, he's not making it out of this. He's going down. In fact, towards the bot lane, John, Xavius, he's trying to fight Mizu. Does dispose. Mizu dropping low, does actually end up going down. Meanwhile, Lelouch does get taken out by Alacrity, but Jokam, he's in danger now, the Tiny, and will end up dropping to Xavius. So they do lose quite a few bodies there, and it certainly was worthwhile for NGX.SEA. But Polaris, they are making sure they can not go high ground.
Yeah, they're holding on quite nicely considering the circumstances from Polaris. NGX, though, this is their opening for Roche. In Your Dream, lots of stats on hand. I have Scotty along with Sanj and Yasha, and make short work of Roshan with a healing award to help them sustain. And Polaris don't have the counterplay anymore. No arena, not going to expend the buyback here as well. Kiss is still a minute 10 away. You're going to have to play really good high ground defense up against a Jug and NP and a Puck. Alacrity's just been so hard to catch out. They've been trying to predict where he ends up on the orb. They leave the shard. Boomboy will probably just hand it off to In Your Dream. So now you've got even more to worry about. The damage coming through from the spin. It's going to be very obnoxious as well. And Polaris, I mean, they've got the butterfly up on Natsumi. If they can work themselves onto that Daedalus, it does feel like the Dusa starts to feel a lot better as a turret on the high ground defense. And eventually, down the line, Nevermind will find a goal to get something like the Blink, Sanjin Yasha of his own, maybe even a refresh if the game drags long enough, and your conditions start to open up. Feels like NGX does need to start to find that angle towards high ground, maybe clear out that mid-tier 2 first, threaten for mega creeps, and, you know, start to push that advantage. It is 11k. They have mentioned drag In Your Dream 2k above Natsumi's Dusa, but the Dusa is still going towards that point where it could still be difficult to just fight against its high ground hold. Like, just Butterfly alone feels like the wave is going to be constantly cleared out. Like, Natsumi can just manage every lane himself if need be. The rest of the team can just collapse with a team fight on top of that.
Interesting build up here from Xavius as well. He's going for the Basher, which I suppose makes enough sense on Marcy with the Unleash, but it's very interesting, right? Like a pos 4 build up going for a Basher as a second core item. Not something you see every day, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the point when Marcy does get really painful, right? Like, you just unleash, go on top of someone, get the damage off. A bit slow on that toss back for Jocam. Surprised he does skip the BKB. Feels like that spell immunity is going to be key for him to even hope to get a good set of unleashes off in the middle. But maybe just thinking about needing that bash, needing that follow-up hold for something like the Puck here for Alacrity is going to be necessary. And we'll see if it does pay off, but it does start to get really dicey once that does come through.
There you go. In Your Dream, nice setup for TMB. Is going to be able to cookie out as now to dispose. Has caught out Jocam on the Tiny. Jocam going to drop, it seems, as Alacrity. Trying to find a way in. Does get TMB down. Still finds a trade for his team. The NGX. A 1-for-1 so far. Could try for Natsumi, and they are going to give it a crack. Natsumi getting jumped on with the Inkswell, is in trouble, but another dispose out. Does save the day, at least for now, with the Dream Coil is there, locking him down, and now with the Omni Slash, he can't survive the output. He is going down. Lelouch, he will soon to follow. And there is no buyback available on the Medusa. Massive openings for Nigma Galaxy.
It's kind of the same situation we found ourselves with Boom SMG, except not as scary. There's no threat onto the tier 3s just yet. There's a tier 2 mid, In Your Dream's taking care of tier 3 top. But no buyback into buying out parts of a Daedalus. They do get the toss though.
Nevermind's gonna survive, but without the Medusa, there's just no way to actually be able to defend this. It's just gonna go the way of NGX.SEA for free. Probably 2 lanes of barracks here for the Radiant side, and well, I'd hate to say it, John, but this Marcy hero looking pretty meh, if you ask me. So Alacrity's gonna make the jump in. Onto Nevermind, they want the Razor. In fact, Jocam gonna go for the toss out of the Dream Coil, and well, Mizu, he'll take the kill himself, no problem. NGX looking for the Megas now. Even once the Medusa comes up, it's gonna be a rather hard defense.
Yeah, I think they've got to be able to nail in this Arena Kisses combo if they really want to hold on. Just one set of racks left, and even that's tough. Xavius does have the Basher up.
Dispose, Spear is out. In Your Dream, he's fine. They have the Dispel on the Inkswell, so kind of does nothing. It's NGX.SEA. They might just go for a quick reset, or they might just go to head back in, because they've got 50 seconds left on the Aegis here for In Your Dream. He'll heal up with the healing ward. They are certainly waiting for someone to show themselves in the mid lane for a nice toss back. Don't let it be Natsumi. Oh, it might just. Natsumi's in Your Dream, jumps right in with the spin. This Medusa dropping way too low, way too fast. There's no way to survive this. Natsumi, he's going to try for the man fight, but it's all over. He's down. Mizu's in on the Nature's Prophet. They are buying back. They're going to try one more time, but they're losing everything. They are losing absolutely everything here on the side of Polaris. They will at least get the Aegis off the Jug, but that was about to expire anyway. He needed the reset. In Your Dream, he'll go right back in. with the Omni Slash out. Look at the damage output. All his mana's gone. Natsumi, this might be a rampage up by Kami-sama. In fact, no, Boom Boy.
No.
Boom Boy takes it. Oh, Boom Boy's taking the rampage.
Oh, there's the tips. He stole it away.
Oh boy.
Stole it away, as you tend to do on position 5. Sometimes you just gotta show your kid who the real boss is. Polaris, they've gotten... Well, they tried a Marcy, Mike. It doesn't quite work out. We saw a little bit more activity from Xavius this time around. You know, working his way towards mid, working his way towards top, getting some aggression off. But we didn't see that combination with Razor kick off. Like, they go with Razor off lane with Marcy. Dispose, Static Link didn't really come true. And even the late game impact of the Marcy this time around wasn't that great. Xavius got the blink, went for the basher. We didn't even see the Unleash bash go off in that last high ground defense. And I think the issues for Polaris came through that they couldn't really take team fights. They only really had a Mars to play around. Like, offlane Razor just went off to a slower start. Nevermind can't really do much on that hero. I mean, he was working towards like BKB Sanjin Yacha blink. He just blink in Static Link and that's it. He had no control to provide outside of just Arena Spear. And Lelouch didn't manage to get a fast start to get a quick blink timing. He went for BKB first, made it hard to catch with the puck. And by the time the blink came up, he was just way too far ahead along with In Your Dream. So we'll see how Polaris adjusts, but NGX play really well. They have a much more aggressive lineup. They managed to meet their conditions better. And you know what? Maybe Marcy's a bit cursed in this series, at least, Mike. It looks like either team who picks it up doesn't tend to make it work too well.
Oh, just say it how it is, John. It's a trash hero. I mean, this hero is just, it's complete garbage. Even in that TNC game, we all know it wasn't the Master that won them the game. It's just as simple as that. We'll head off to a very short break so we can decompose how bad this hero is, and right after that break, we'll be back with our lovely panel for Game 3 draft. We'll see you then.